my kitchen. So summer is here and it's this time of year that we tend to make a lot more wedding cakes and just generally more summery themed cakes. So I thought I would use this week's video tutorial to show you how to make a flower that would be perfect to add to any of these cakes. So I'm going to show you how to make this realistic gum paste sunflower. Also, don't forget that if you enjoyed this video tutorial, you can subscribe to the Cakes by Lindsay YouTube channel for more videos like this. You can also hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button, and this will just alert you every time a new video is uploaded so you don't miss a thing. Okay, let's get started. The things that we're going to need in order to make our sunflower is, first of all, I've got some gum paste or floral paste, and I've coloured some in some sunflower yellow and also some in a dark brown. I've then got my veining mat at the bottom, and as you can see it's got these grooves cut out, but if you don't have one of those you can just use a small rolling pin. I've got my petal cutter. Now you just want one that is this shape, so pointed at the top and then you've got these curves on the side. Now this is actually a dahlia petal cutter, but it's the perfect shape, and this one just measures 1.5 inches. I've then got a round circle cutter which I'm going to use for the center of the sunflower, and you want to make sure that it's just slightly wider than your petal, so this one measures 2 inches in diameter. I've then also got a veining tool. Now this one just has veins that run straight up from the bottom. I've got a small pile of wires. Now I've just cut these wires down to around 1.5 inches, and this is 24 gauge wire. I've then got my edible glue, some piping tips. So I've just got some small piping tips in the size 2 and 3. I've got my modelling tool, so you'll need a ball tool and a Dresden tool, or just a tool with a point on the end. I've also got some tweezers, some small nail scissors, some edible tint, and lastly I've just got my foam mat. So we're going to make a start with the petals to go around the outside of our sunflower. Okay, so I'm just going to take some of that yellow floral paste, and first of all I'm just going to show you how to do it using the veined mat. So as you can see, this one's just got some grooves cut out. Now all we want is just a raised area of the gum paste on the back of the petal that we can just slot our wire into. Now where we have this groove cut out, I'm just going to place a small amount of my yellow gum paste at the top and just roll that out. Now when you peel that back, you're just left with this nice raised area. I can then take my petal cutter and just placing that point on the bottom of that raised area, just cut that out. You then want to take your edible glue and just a small piece of that wire and just coat that tip like so. You can then push your wire into the raised area. Now I'm going to go in about 1 centimeter and then just pinch that end just to make sure the wire is secure. Bring in your veining tool. Place the petal with a smooth surface facing down, and just using a small sponge, just push that texture in. I can then bring in my foam mat and my ball tool. I just want to thin out those edges. Take my Dresden tool and just run a line from the base of the petal right up to the point. This will then allow you just to curve that petal in slightly, and I'm just going to pinch that top. With these ones I'm just going to allow them to dry just on a flat surface. So there we have our first sunflower petal. Now I'm going to show you if you don't have a veining mat. So I'm just going to take some more of that yellow gum paste and also a small rolling pin and just flatten that out, but leave a raised section in the middle. You can then go into your gum paste until you're left with a small raised triangle, the same as we had with the veining mat. Now the only reason to use the veining mat is just to make the process slightly quicker. So here we have the gum paste with the raised area here. So again, I'm just going to use my petal cutter and cut the shape out. This will then allow me just to pop my wire into that gum paste. I can then use my veining tool and just add that texture in exactly the same way, and using my ball tool just finish off the edge of those petals. Now I'm going to make some more of my petals, and I've worked out that I'm going to need 20 of the petals to fit around my circle cutter. Now I am going to do 2 rows of petals, so I need to make a total of 40. Okay, so once all my petals have been created and I've just left them to dry until that gum paste has gone hard, they're now ready to add some petal dust before we create the center of our sunflower. So I've just got some egg yellow and some tangerine here, and all we want to do is just brush this on the bottom of our petals just to add some different shades. Just coming up around a centimeter from the base. You then want to do exactly the same process for all of your petals. Once all of our petals have been dusted, you just want to pop these to one side just while we work on the center of our sunflower. Just got quite a large ball of a dark brown gum paste, and I'm just going to roll this out until it's a thickness of around 7 millimeters. So you just want it thick enough that we can add 2 rows of petals. I'm then going to take my round cookie cutter and I'm just going to go in, but just put a mark on the top so you can just see you've got a circle. You then want to go in with your ball tool. So I'm going to come around a centimeter in and just flatten down that center. So the circle on the edge is just to give you a guide. As we do this, it is going to stretch that gum paste. Okay, so what we have is a raised area on the outside. Then have a ring that is quite indented and just slightly raised in the center. So once you're happy with that, I'm just going to go back in with my circle cutter and line that up and just cut that out. If you were wanting to add a wire, you just want to take quite a thick piece and just wind that round itself. Then just want to bring that round so you create a few loops. So all we're doing is trying to create quite a large surface area of the metal to stick onto the back of our sunflower because it is quite heavy. I'm then going to pull the wire into the center and just pull that up. You can then take a piece of gum paste and just flatten that out. You can then bring that over your wire and just stick that on to the back. And you might want to stick that down with some edible glue just so it's not going to move. Okay, so the next thing is adding that texture into our center. So I've just got 2 piping tips. Now this is the number 3, which is slightly larger, and the number 2, so it's just got these circle ends. And I'm going to start with the smaller number 2 and just come into the center and just push my mark in. Now I'm not going to come all the way to the edge just because I am going to add some wider ones at the bottom. Now I have just curved this line round slightly, so when I put the next row in, I'm going to curve them round so you get this kind of spiral pattern. I'm then going to go in with my number 3 and just finish off those rows, just bringing it up into that side. So these are just going to look like the seeds in the middle of your sunflower. I then want to make this raised area on the outside look a lot rougher. So I'm going to use a combination of some small nail scissors and my tweezers. So I'm just going to take the end of my nail scissors and just start chopping into that area, pulling bits of that gum paste out. So once you're starting to get that texture, I'm just going to take my tweezers and just go in and just pull and push that gum paste around, just really messing that up so you get this nice texture, which is quite different to the texture in the center. I'm now going to go all the way around that edge, just coming down just where we're going to stick our first row of petals. Okay, so once we've got that nice texture around the edge and you can see all these seeds in the middle, I just want to add some color onto this before we add our petals. Usually the middle of the sunflower is slightly darker than the outside, and you have small areas where you can see slight yellow or greens coming through. So I'm just going to take some black edible tin and just go in to that center area. I've then got a small amount of chocolate color, which I'm just going to go in just to add a few different shades of brown just around that edge. I can then take a small amount of green and just go in lightly in the center. I'm then picking up some of that yellow and just doing exactly the same thing, just pushing that in some of the gaps. Okay, so once you're done, I've just got this sunflower center. So now it's time to bring in all of our little petals. So you want to use your edible glue, and you want to do this when the center is still quite soft, else once this hardens you're not going to be able to push your wires through. So I'm just going to start on the side where the texture ends, and I'm going to push my first petal in, just making sure that I angle down slightly because we don't want it to come through the area that is slightly sunken. And I'm going to push until the bottom 2 millimeters disappears. For my next one, I'm just going to go in directly next to that, and I'm going to work my way all the way around. Now, what's great about these being on wires is you can just move them around if you want to bring them in slightly. So there we have our first row of petals. Now for the second row, I just want to use those to close up some of these small gaps you can see. Just coming down a few millimeters from the previous one. I'm just going to push that in. You can see the petal between the two top ones. And I'm going to go around. So once all your petals are in, you can just push those in. Just turn some of them, maybe bring some of them up from the back slightly. Okay, so once all of your petals have been added into your center, you just want to leave this to one side just to dry until that center area is completely solid. And also, if you've added a wire into the back, you want to make sure that this is nice and secure. Now, if you haven't added the wire in, all I would do is add it to your cake using some royal icing, just because it is quite a heavy flower. So here we have the finished Gumpaste sunflower, which would look perfect on any of your summery themed cakes. I really hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial and will enjoy making your own sunflower. If you have, then don't forget to give this video a like, and if you'd like to see more flower videos like this, then you can head over to the Cakes by Lindsay YouTube channel and find the button where it says videos, and there'll be a whole selection of different flowers that you can try. So until next time, bye!